Hello, viewers. Today, I want to share with you a deeply emotional story, a story of pain, resilience, and the extraordinary power of love. This is the journey of a tiny puppy, once frail and frightened, now embraced by kindness and given the chance to live the life he was always meant to have. In the quiet corners of Gambia, where the world moves fast and survival is never guaranteed, this little puppy was left alone, fighting for his place in a world that barely noticed him. His body was fragile, his fur thin and patchy, revealing the signs of neglect and hunger. His paws trembled with exhaustion, and his eyes, those soft, searching eyes, held a desperate plea for mercy. He had never known warmth, never felt the comfort of a gentle touch. His days were filled with loneliness, his nights with uncertainty. He did not cry out for help because the world had never answered him before, but fate, in its quiet, in its unpredictable way, was about to change everything. It started with a simple act. A stranger stopping, noticing, choosing to care. Fatu, an animal rescuer, had seen too many souls lost to the streets, too many creatures ignored until it was too late. But this puppy, something about him made her pause. She knelt beside him, speaking softly, reaching out with cautious hands. Would he run? Would he flinch? Would he let himself be saved? The puppy hesitated, his frail body barely able to move. Then, in a moment that felt like destiny, he leaned forward. That small, fragile movement spoke louder than any cry for help ever could. It was trust, given despite every reason not to. And with that, his journey began. At the rescue center, the battle for survival was still not over. He was weak, his body failing after too long without food or care. He barely lifted his head, barely acknowledged the hands that worked to save him. But Fatu refused to let him slip away. She held him close, whispering words that he did not understand but somehow felt. She fed him little by little, and with each meal, his strength returned. His ribs, once sharp against his skin, slowly became less visible. His fur, once rough and dirty, began to soften. Most of all, his eyes, once dulled by suffering, began to shine with something new, hope. And then, one day, something beautiful happened. He wagged his tail, not out of fear, not out of desperation, but out of joy. It was small at first, hesitant, as if testing the very idea of happiness. But soon, it became playful, eager, full of life. He ran, stumbling at first, but then with confidence, chasing after the caregivers who had given him another chance. He had learned something he never knew before, that love is safe, that kindness is real, that the world could be gentle. And in that moment, he was no longer just a rescued puppy. He was a beloved soul, worthy of happiness, worthy of a home. Across the world, Clara saw his story. A single picture, a simple post about his rescue, and her heart knew he was meant to be hers. She did not hesitate. She reached out, signed every paper, prepared her home for his arrival. She knew that this puppy was more than just an adoption. He was a symbol of something greater. He was proof that even the smallest creature, the most fragile life, deserved love. And so his journey took its final step. From the streets of Gambia to the warmth of a home where he would never be alone again. The day he arrived, Clara knelt, her arms open, her voice soft. Would he come to her? Would he trust again? And then, without hesitation, he ran. He ran into the arms that would hold him for the rest of his life. He ran into safety, into warmth, into forever. This is his story, a story of suffering, of rescue, of transformation, a story of what happens when love reaches where it is needed